Hi, I'm Sam, welcome to my channel, and within the last few minutes the Army's just come out with an update to the actual Army brand itself and how essentially the general population, the civilian population, how they really perceive the Army to be, especially with the news recently of, I think it was 3 para, they were in the news quite heavily recently. Then they weren't allowed to go on their exercises abroad, and that had a negative impact on how the Army was perceived and its actual brand. But essentially, when I think of brands, I always think of the logos itself. But the Army aren't changing the logo. They've done a recent survey, and around 74% of people recognised the Army logo straight away. So the Army aren't going to change the logo. But what they are doing is trying to change its brand and how it's perceived and how we are perceived, those within the military, to the civilian community. So this is brand new. This only came out like I think around half hour ago, something like that. So I'm gonna read a little bit for you, and then we'll dissect it and we'll see whether it works and if I think it works or not. So essentially what they're looking at is the value of the brand itself. So a brand ensures the Army speaks with a single voice, which strengthens the impact of its messages across audiences. Makes sense. I think before they were more reliant on the general regiments and corps, cap badges across the Army, essentially having their own brand, where they do have their own identity, but they also had kind of like their own brand and the messages they were sending out about the Army itself. But I think the Army now wants to put that all under one umbrella. So the new revised framework is designed to help those crafting messages, speeches, or other communicative outputs to strike the right tone and balance to reflect the personality of the Army. So let's look at identity, brand, and reputation. And the reputation in the military really does go in peaks and troughs, I find, especially with the work we've been doing in Ukraine, and then what happens when we're left to our own devices on the UK mainland. So identity, brand, and reputation. There is a relationship between the British Army's identity, our DNA, our brand, which is this work, which is what this PD, this policy directive, essentially is talking about, and their Army reputation, what we are actually seen as. The brand helps to inform our reputation and shape audience perceptions and develops our innate identity. Therefore, the brand helps to bridge the gap between identity and reputation and aids our audience's understanding of our narrative and what is important to us as the British Army. So essentially, they just put that a little bit more eloquently than I did at the beginning of the video, I think. But let's actually have a look at the brand here. So I'll stick this up in the corner now. It's the actual brand itself, and then I will read the brand narrative. So this is the new Army brand narrative coming up. The British Army is a unique national institution, constantly evolving to meet and defeat the challenges facing the future soldier. And I made a video about that recently. Through uncertain times, rapid technological change, and the shifting ways of war, we can depend on the British Army to protect our nation, successfully execute on operations, and be ready for the next challenge at home or overseas. And that's why a lot of people join the Army, to get away overseas. We are prepared to do what others can't or won't. We are a modernising, battle-ready land force that is resilient, innovative and productive. We are able to respond to national security situations in real time with agility, ingenuity and cutting-edge technologies. We know that we achieve more together, so we will integrate deeper across defence with industry partners and our trusted allies against our adversaries. We believe that our people are our army. We celebrate their diverse minds and backgrounds and commit daily to foster an inclusive culture where everybody feels that they belong. The Army are pushing hard with inclusivity at the moment. We understand that individual respect is the foundation of our dynamic team and our famous fighting spirit. As a whole force of professionals, we set ourselves the highest standards, and everything we do reflects our core values, striving to be the best and make our nation proud. Yeah, I kind of get where they're coming from there, but I think the army's lost its way a little bit, and where it says we set ourselves the highest standards and everything we do reflects our core values. Standards are dropping massively within the army. It's changed a lot since I joined up, where everything had to be clean, haircut, neck shaves, everything was set in stone. You knew exactly where you lied. If your hair was a little bit long, you knew you couldn't have that. You knew you had to wear belts over jackets. You knew your uniform had to be absolutely crisp. But now those standards have gone. You don't have to wear belts over jackets anymore. You can grow beards. You can have long hair. Girls don't have to have their hair in a bun, and so on and so forth. So I think that's kind of lost its way a little bit with regard to the highest standards. I think the standards have dropped, but essentially I can understand where the army are coming from with regards to changing its brand, and it's having real problems with recruitment, and the type of people that is trying to recruit, they're just not joining up. So let me know what you think, if the army does need a new brand, or if how people think of it already in your eyes is absolutely fine. And just drop some messages in the comment section below. If you do have any questions, please, of course, just ask, and I always try and get back to them all. Other than that, take care. Bye.